everyone, it's Professor John McKinney, and I am here in the incredible small town, Dyersburg, Tennessee. We have a video coming up where we're going to talk about culture in another country. So let's dive in. Hola, Ruth. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Enjoying this cloudy Barcelona rainy day. And it's like 29 degrees right now.
Okay,
Celsius degrees.
Celsius. Celsius.
Yeah, because otherwise it would be quite cold.
Yeah, so awesome. Well, thank you for, taking the time today to meet with me to talk about, where you're from and what you do for work and culture in the workplace. Um,
Mm.
and so I guess kind of to start, the first question that I have is I was going to see if you could tell us, who you are, where you're at, places you've worked at, and what you do.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me today. My name is Ruth. I'm from Barcelona, in Spain. It's a northeast part of Spain. The province is Catalonia, and we speak Catalan as well, Spanish. Um, so my story is very like random, I would say, because I have a business administration management degree, like bachelor degree.
Mhm.
I never went to the university. I had no chance to go to the university, so I have like medium degrees. And I was an accountant, so I've been performing as an accountant for a while, and then I was doing like retail, and I got back to accountancy again, and then by accident, at some point in my life, after Spain had the worldwide the crisis in worldwide from 2008 and to, to 2011. I've been unemployed and I was doing, here and there like part-time jobs on coffee shops and schools and more accountancy and treasury and so on. And at some point, I had the opportunity to go into the video games industry by accident. I applied to a job position at King, the Candy Crush people, and I was lucky and they accepted me for a workplace assistant. So from that point, I discovered that workplace was a profession, like it was a role, because I noticed that I was doing workplace at home myself for my entire life, and I didn't know that was a job to do. So when I was accepted at King, I discovered workplace management profession, and also I discovered the video games industry, mobile in that case, and how to really jump into a big international company, which is King. And that was like a level up, an upskilling moment for me because I was learning a lot. I was practicing a lot my English skills, interpersonal writing, day to day, and also cultures. Working with people abroad from Canada to India and from passing by South Africa and I don't know. So that was a different starting point in my career. And then I continued working in workplace roles and on video games industry, and then I jumped into a different role. So I am this one exception, because in Spain we used to have like people like 20 years on the same company, 15 years on the same company. I'm not. My maximum was 4, so I could be the exception at that point. Sorry, Spanish people, but um, yeah, I was jumping here and there trying to find, because after being a workplace assistant, I got, of course, more management skills and project skills and so on, and real estate, like knowledge. So I was jumping into more responsibility roles than at booking.com as workplace administration. Then I was workplace manager again on the video games industry and so on. So I was trying to find my place. And that was both by good and bad decisions career wise, and also by chance and by luck and having the right people accepting your application and you performing well on the interviews. It was a mix of scenarios that, yeah, the result is that you got the job. But yeah, if I could go back 10 years ago, I would not jump so much from one job to another. I would maybe stay more, make more impact in that company or in that area, instead of just, looking my own glory on what else, what's next.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I am now unemployed. I had to be pulled out from a project in Adevinta. Adevinta is a worldwide company as well. It was the former Shipstead, and they own marketplaces, digital marketplaces. For example, in Canada is Kijiji, Canada. In Germany would be Kleinanzeigen. In Italy is Subito. In Spain is Mil Anuncios. They have different marketplaces,
Okay.
second-hand marketplaces, cars, motorcycles, and so on.
Hmm.
So I've been 9 months in there in procurement, but slash HR procurement, because I was preparing the contracts from external people like freelancers, consultants, contingent workers, and all
Mhm.
kind of non-fixed term employee. So I was doing procurement slash HR thing, preparing the contracts and negotiating the daily rates and so on. And I just got had to be pulled off because the project was being reduced. And in 2 days, I'm going back there for a new interview for a workplace management again role. So they offered me an opportunity, and we will see if that could be or not. But it could be a global workplace
Okay.
experience project manager. So it's again a level up.
Yeah.
And this is my situation now. And regarding the procurement specifically for this position, I just being pulled out. Um, I've never been in procurement before. I had no idea. So when I was recruited, they told me HR operations, whatever thing, and I just believed the agency. But when I landed in there, it was procurement slash HR. So that this happens as well. So you think that you go for one thing, and then you end up instead of Coca-Cola with Pepsi. But it's still a sparkling drink water, but it's a different drink.
Yeah.
So, and that's who I am. Regarding personal background, I have so many hobbies. I do many things. Um, my family worked in hospitality, restaurants, and so on. But we are the special ones in Barcelona because we work on board games, playful bars. So you grab a drink and you play a board game for the hours you want on the bar. And we were the first ones in Barcelona funding that. So I've been surrounded by games and by customer service environments since I was a child. So I have also advantage on that. That's why I'm talkative, and that's why I used to be like open and extrovert, because I was growing up in half of my life in a restaurant with my parents working, clients and
Yeah.
customers, board games, social interactions all day long. So yeah, that's also part of my personal background. And I from reading, doing some sort of DIY projects. I write, I paint, I do music at home, kind of electronic thing. I'm kind of renaissantist thing, role,
Yeah.
person. But yeah, curiosity, and yeah, I'm always curious on what else can I do.
Okay.
Mm.
Awesome. I didn't know that about your board game background.
Yeah,
I
no
love
one
board games.
expected that.
Yeah, well, so I'm gonna go off script a
What do
little
you
bit,
have
but
there?
I actually made this board game uh
No.
for staff in Antarctica. It's called Antarctic Claims.
Can I have one copy? Can I buy one for my parents?
Well, they're very limited edition. There's only six of them in the world that I had made, and four of them are in Antarctica right now.
Okay.
So
But maybe we can
uh,
have an arrangement if I translate that to Spanish.
so
Wow, so
um,
nice.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this one's still in its wrapping, but
Sí, 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 sí.
yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
And then
Nice.
whenever I think of Candy Crush, I'll think of you from now on. So
Sí, sí, sí. No, I mean it could be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because you spend your half of your childhood in there. And
mhm,
I maybe at that time would prefer to be more at home or with my
yeah,
brothers, or I don't know, playing different things. I don't know. But I was so restaurant side. So it's a good and a bad thing at the same time.
yeah. Okay, awesome. Um, well, yeah, thanks for that introduction. The next question that I have is I was going to see if you could talk a little bit about workplace culture or business mannerisms, kind of specifically to Spain. Um,
Mm.
I know you kind of worked at a couple companies, so I'm sure you have quite a good, experience with that.
See, but you know what? I had a couple of bad experiences, both from my mm, inefficient behavior or not enough maturity for the role at that point.
Mm.
But in general, what I was thinking for this question is that, and this is my own point of view, so this is completely my opinion, but I think that we have two Spains on the
Okay.
same piece of land. We still have a generation that was living the aftermath of the Civil War. They are still alive. And then we have the other Spain, which is the people who had the chance to be properly digitalized and be onboarded on the new 2000s technological era we have. So, and we are co-living on the labor market on the same piece of land, but
Yeah.
we have the same duties, but we don't have the same rights. So you can find people from my age, 4 years old, I'm 40 years old. You can find people from my age that didn't have the opportunity maybe to get more in touch with English or with digital ERP softwares for finance or HR, I don't know, ATS, whatever thing. Or they still think that an interview process should be like back in the 80s, where you just sit down completely nervous and sweating your hands and just looking at the screen or being in front of that person physically in there. So we have two kind of population. They co-live also on in the companies on our businesses in Spain. But there's a breach in there. And I think that this creates the so renowned Spanish manners and ways that if you ask me, I will always expect a bad thing from someone in a workplace. Besides my own judgment, besides my own mood on that day, it could
Hmm.
happen. If there's Spanish people in there, it could happen. And this could be weird to say on an interview, but it is true. If you talk to people, on a backstage, they will tell you, the blacks and whites of their own management. So the problem is that we still have the heirloom of bad management that were educated back in the 80s. And this is not a global thing in Spain. It's like, for me, it's like 50% of the country overall, different
Yeah.
industries. But this is something that we have. So workplace behaviors and manners, you have the bright side, working as I had the chance and the opportunity on the video games industry for Candy Crush people, and then to the South Korean people, the ones that they made the Lost Ark on Steam, or the other ones on Netherlands. So, but I could be the exception. So I have a lot of friends and on my own environment and coworkers and colleagues
Hmm.
that they didn't have the same opportunities or they were not at the right moment to get advantage of that. So it's a for me Spain it's a so workplaces in Spain are like the like a catalog. So you can find all kind of plates and colors on a single office. And we used to be so Spain is let me just bomb
Yeah.
the thoughts. Spain is a social country. We are social people, and culturally we are social. We have thousands of terraces and bars per square meter in Barcelona, in Madrid, in Valencia, in Coruña, in every city in Spain. And it's a Mediterranean, half Atlantic country, a lot of sun, a lot of light hours. So we need to be
Hmm.
outdoors and we socialize a lot. So we used to friction a lot because we are constantly interacting. And in workplace, that means that your ego, your own insecurities, or your own talents, or your own, like skills, all at once, they all show up at the same place, at the same time, on the same day, and even on the same conversation. So we are not yet used to um, to be humble enough, as you were saying me before, to be humble enough to say, okay, I had this experience and I thought I knew everything, but maybe this is the time to reflect on myself and then start relearning again. But this way of thinking requires you to have been internationally involved in something or talking to different countries. So if you were not doing that before, it's difficult that you reflect on yourself and say, okay, I have a Canadian people next to me. Okay, how are they? Let's find out how they are culturally. Let's work with them.
Mhm.
This way of thinking is made of experiences that allow you to be that way, and half of our country didn't have that opportunity. So that's why I think workplace is a weird catalog of
Yeah.
very random profiles, and thanks to international people coming, in my case, to Barcelona, we are having more training on that, and we are getting more like experience, more like, because when Spain, at least myself, when I'm going to northern countries, Poland, Germany, Denmark, even Sweden, I am amazed, like, wow, these people is living in 2300 ahead. I mean, I'm feeling like prehistoric. So this from my point of view, that was my
Mhm.
feeling so many times when I was traveling abroad and working abroad on projects and with different offices. So that's my feeling. We are split in two groups. Unfortunately, there's a huge breach in language, in
Mhm.
English, in salary, in skills, in technological skills. You talk to someone maybe 4 years old like me, and you say agile or scrum, or you say, I don't know, ERP itself, and
Yeah.
if they were not into finance specifically, they maybe don't have a clue. And that's fair, that's fine. But at some point, 2023, I expect, my generation, 4 years old, I born in the 83s, to have some sort of upskilling, like, okay, let's do this. Let's not be the queue of Europe anymore, because I feel that sometimes Spain is the queue of Europe anymore. Um, and this is a bit of, like workplace, business, cultures, it's
Yeah.
like, we try to be modern, we try to be on the top performers business wise talking, but we lack a lot of empathy, interpersonal feedback, ways to provide feedback, business manners, and we have super good things as well, like conciliation, parental leaves, and so other rights. But I believe that our businesses would be much way much better if we were more humble and trying to, not to be so egocentric and
Yeah.
think that we are. No, maybe we have to be less and allow to get more from other cultures. And I don't know. Yeah, that's a lost thought, but yeah,
Yeah.
that would be
Well,
my
so let's make sure that I understand correctly. So, so you're saying that there's primarily two main cultures within Spain. Um,
mm,
I guess I'd describe one as like a more traditional
see.
uh, Spanish culture, where it sounds like it's a very, at least in the United States, we would call it masculine type culture, where it's very,
Yeah,
uh,
sometimes.
follow the manager, do it
See,
this way,
see.
right? You can't look for improvements, right? Like the
Mhm.
manager said, do it this way, you do it this way,
See.
right? And then you say that there's the modern culture as well, right? For half of the population, which is because you're in Europe, you have all these different influences coming in, the growth of technology, and so you have the people that are the modern culture, and then you have more of like a traditional culture, and that's where it clashes. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, you
Okay.
explained it better than me. And in 1 minute, the
Well,
thing,
but it
just
took me.
just
I had to listen.
but just numbers for you.
Yeah.
Spain has 47 million people,
Hmm.
inhabitants. 21 million are working,
Only 1 million are working.
so less than 50%.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. There are two groups, the traditional and the modern one, trying to pull from the other one. But yeah,
Yeah.
and both of them are fair. I mean, it's not about to be super modern and suddenly, I don't know, forget about your respect for your manager and get
Yeah.
direction. No, 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 no. But sometimes it gets really rusty, really, really rusty. And we need to
Yeah.
get rid of that as a country.
Okay.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so that I'm interested because you said there's was it 4.6 million
47,
population?
47
47 million?
million Spain
Okay,
people,
47
Spanish.
million. And only how many are working
So
again?
21, around 21 million are the ones like employed and paying the
Okay.
taxes and social
Yeah.
security. So on the economic cycle, 3 million people unemployed, myself included, from 1 month ago.
Yeah.
And the rest, elders, newborns, students, and different
Okay.
kind of society. But only 21 million is employed right now, quarter
Yeah.
three, 2023. It's less than
Okay.
50%.
Yeah. I was curious as to why that was the number. I mean, it makes sense with people retiring and when you take into account children and newborns and people
Sí.
that are still, going to school and whatnot.
Mm,
But does it feel like there's a large percentage of the population that could be working that
sí,
just isn't?
sí, 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 sí.
What do you think the reason is for that?
I can put myself as an example to not to,
Mhm.
judge because you don't know other people's situation. But in my case, do this month, I've been offered a couple of times, and Spain has a system for unemployed people to get free courses and apply to vacancies and so on. But besides that, I
Okay.
got offered a couple of times, and I did few interviews, but or I was either refusing them or they were refusing me. So if you really want to job, you can job. Could be in a poor conditions, could be completely unfair paid,
Yeah.
um, but you can do that. The thing is, one of our Spanish economists, Marc Vidal, I think his name is his name. He said that if you start shortening the week and creating sub-employment, at the end you are uh, not. I mean, you are getting them more poor because the shifts and the salary and so on. So the thing is that yes, you can work. There is work in Spain and there is labor market to apply for,
Hmm.
but we are not well paid. So your HR position in US, for example, could be 1K 20, but in Barcelona, we are being paid 45, 50K euros, and euro and dollar is not so different now. So
Yeah.
there's a huge bridge and difference. It's true that we are part of the economic European area and we have
Mhm.
different economies and so on, but a huge percentage of unemployed people can work, yes, but you should, I mean, it worth to see in which areas, because if it's hospitality, for example, a waiter
Mhm.
or a waitress, I was myself doing 7 days a week only for breakfasts and weekends, complete entire shift. I was 300 euros a month. 300 euros. This is
Yeah.
like, it's not even two supermarkets.
Yeah.
So yes, two groups, two Spains. You can have a full stack developer junior position for 20K onwards, 20,
Hmm.
25K onwards, super nice thing. Just just from the university into the your first position. But
Yeah.
then you can be 40 years old like me with 15 years career experience on different companies, countries, blah blah. And maybe I end up, like washing dishes, or which is not bad at all, but it's not my area.
Hmm.
So it's a mix of the two Spains. People that don't want to work, this is because the system, because we have a system that protects a lot the unemployed people with subsidiary, with a monthly pays, with uh, systems where you can apply and get more aids. So in Spain, you can get aids everywhere. And what
Yeah.
happens that at the end, you get more money through the aids than
Mm.
not maybe working.
Yeah.
But this is a cycle. If you don't work, you're not paying taxes. If you don't pay taxes, the system cannot pay the unemployed people, and so on. So yeah.
Yeah, in the United States, we experienced that a little bit early on in the COVID times, where we increased everyone's unemployment payments, and there was more regulations, but then also more services provided. And so, at least for a lot of the um, in the United States, we call them like blue collar workers, where you're
Mhm.
not necessarily like in an office, but you're like serving people, right?
Uh-huh.
Or building houses or doing something with your hands. You found a lot of people that were uh, not necessarily wanting to go back to work because they were making just as much, right? Or maybe even
Yeah.
a little bit more not working at during that time.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's interesting. Awesome. Well, so the last question that I have is what advice would you give to any of the students in my class that are interested in working or in a different country, or even possibly working specifically in Spain? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, the best one, maybe the one I was trying to create myself and apply myself with the help of coworkers and people in life.
Hmm.
It's despite if you go to Germany or to Spain, which are completely different, by the way, we are still human beings. So if you suffer, suffer is the same for everyone. If you cry, cry is the same for everyone. Cry is cry, and pain is pain. It could be by a teeth, it could be because of loss, but at the end, the feeling, the feeling of pain, the feeling of sorrow, the feeling of feeling not supported, different feelings. This is not country wise. This is human being wise. So that the advice would be just be yourself, and when you enter into a culture, so if you have a water of blue liquid and you are a small drop of red liquid and you drop yourself on the glass will
Hmm.
not be red and will not be purple, will still be blue. So you could be an addition even if you don't notice the impact that you are having on this new place and they on you, but you are still part of the class, so you are still part of the group and of the country and of this culture. So try to stay open, like human beings. Yes, we all feel the same pains and happiness and events in life, and then there's the
Hmm.
country, then there's the culture. But sometimes, again, the happiness you feel at work is not related at all on your culture. You're just feeling happy because you get promoted or you got a raise pay, anything. So just try to, I don't know, for me it could be like undressing, you know. I've never been in America, for example, I've never been in any part of Americas. So if I would go to New York or Vancouver or Chile or whatever place, the first thing I would do is like, okay, everything that I know, I'm going to put them in the box. I will keep it safe for me when I'm going to the hotel.
Hmm.
But meanwhile, when I'm with people chilling out and learning and seeing and experiencing, I will just open doors, like absorb and then check. Hey, for example, with the, I don't know, you can check with people in the hotel. Hey, I've been today in that place with these people. They were doing that, and it was so weird for me. Is this normal in the US? Oh, yes, it is. So just get 5 minutes in your day to check the things that you have been doing and experiencing
Hmm.
at workplace, on a university, doing the shopping on the supermarket, and just try to understand this culture as a new way of thinking to you. But they are still human beings. So at the end, if you fall down the stairs, everyone, no matter if they are Spanish or German, probably they will get to aid you and to help you out that you fall on the ground. And this is not related to culture. This is more a human side. So that would be my best advice. It worked to me. I did a lot of mistakes on my career and I was stupid as fuck as well. And I was so nice and so professional and I did really, really great sometimes. But the best thing I had and the feedback that people were leaving to me is like, hey, you are like light-hearted, hearted, you are like human being, you are like open, you are like humble, you are always there, so we feel you. And this feedback, I took that as a compliment. So this is the
Mhm.
way I try to behave when I'm going anywhere. And it's not necessarily related to work. It could be a visit to friends, it could be, I don't know, any other thing. So that would be my best advice. If you come to Spain, we are a social country with more than 16 hours a day on the summer times with light and sun. We used to be so many times outdoors. And we work upon social interaction. So if you go to Poland, it would be completely different. They are more cold countries and they stay more at home. We don't have teammates at home. They have. So these kind of small details that will make you,
Mhm.
and also we are welcoming. We are quite open people. If you come to Spain or southern countries, I would say the same for Italian, for French, Portugal, Canary Islands. I would say the same. Like um, we are just we welcome everyone until you cheat us. So don't cheat people. Just be your best version, and you will get multiplied by 1,000 from at least from Spanish people. That would be my advice. So long advice, but it's a nice advice.
Awesome. Um, well, yeah, no, thank you for that. So yeah, try to stay humble is what I got from
See,
that, right? If you're working internationally.
stop summarizing me. Yeah, stay humble, and just do not. And also another thing, do not think that what your beliefs do not
Mhm.
define you. It could help you on your country and your culture, but if you believe that something on your country is wrongly done and you have the opportunity on doing well in a new place, just do it. Maybe you are surprised and maybe you discover that this is super welcomed by people in there. So just try it.
Well, Ruth, thank you so much for your time and being willing to talk with me about Spain and your experiences.
Mm,
So yeah, I really appreciated it. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, adios and have a
Adios.
great rest of the day. So,
Yeah,
all right.
likewise to you. Mhm.
All right. Bye.